But when you don't invite somebody that kind of brought you to where you are today, not even to your Hall of Fame, I mean, that was a slap in the face right there. And if you're listening to Mark Calaway, I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Vince came to us at one time and said, guys, we're in this deep war, and I'm not sure if you guys are going to get paychecks for a little while. And I said, it doesn't matter, Vince. Let's dig that foxhole and win this war. And everybody was leaving us. And then here comes Steve Austin. Then here comes The Rock, guy that I grew up with. He was the little boy. He grew up in the locker room. And, you wanted to see him do well, and you did everything you could. But Pat Patterson and I and Bruce Pritchard, we all, got our minds together and talked to Vince about different ideas. I created Yokozuna at that time. Rodney was there. Vince said, I don't know what to do with this guy. I said, he's a hell of a talent. I've worked with him many times. And he said, yeah, but I've got 10 Samoans now. I don't know what to do with them. So I started thinking about it as a sumo wrestler, and he came through in flying colors, and so we all stayed there. We fought that war. We won the war, and I just feel like, I found Mark Calaway in a box of tapes, as a lot of people know. My back was hurt. I had to go work in the office, and one of my jobs was to go through this wannabe office. I had all these tapes and boxes and envelopes and pictures and letters from wannabe wrestlers and managers and valets and announcers, and they wanted me to go through all these things. And one was Mark Calaway, and I brought him in, and I said to Vince, "You got to see this guy." I said, He's a wrestler. He's down at WCW, and he's got short red hair, but man, what a talent. He said, well, I've never heard of him, so bring him in. So I called up Mark, brought him in for a tryout in Rochester, New York. And as soon as Vince saw him in the ring, came up to the grill position, takes my headset off my ear and said, Sarge, where'd you find this guy? I said, in a box of tapes. He goes, send him to my office. So Mark comes up, how did I do? I said, I thought you did good. He said, okay. And I said, but Vince wants to talk to you. Oh, did I do something wrong? I said, I think you probably did something right. Let's go. So I introduced him to Vince. He comes out of Vince's office. What Vince say? He wants to know if I can come to Buffalo tomorrow night. I said, can you? He goes, yeah, I can come. And he's been there ever since, because Vince had this idea of a dark character. First, he rumbled around about a pallbearer, but he finally got it right and got the Undertaker and went and got a pallbearer, Percy Pringle, who was actually a pallbearer, and brought him in to do all of his talking for him, and the rest is history. And and if you're listening, Mark Calaway, I just want to ask you one thing. I found you in a box of tapes. Sergeant Slaughter found you in a box of tapes, and I called you 3 times because the first 2 times you hung up on me because you didn't believe it was me. But finally, I gave him the office number, and I said, ask for me when you call this number. And he said, oh, it is you. I said, yeah, it is me. Guess who he didn't invite to his Hall of Fame? Me, Sergeant Slaughter, the guy that found him, the guy that brought him to Vince McMahon and said, here's the guy. This is your guy. And can you imagine not being invited to his Hall? I should have been in the front row. I mean, and I always kidded Mark, over the years. I said, hey, Mark, how's it going? He said, great. I said, every time I go to my mailbox, I expect to see a little, the percentage. And he goes, oh, the check's in the mail, Sarge. The check's in the mail. Then, that gave us a little bit ha-ha for a while. But when you don't invite somebody that kind of brought you to where you are today, not even to your Hall of Fame. I mean, that was a slap in the face right there. And if you're listening to Mark Calaway, I don't understand it. I really don't understand it.
I'll pass that on. I may be seeing him
Yeah.
some in August. I'll pass it on.